My wife always wakes up at midnight to feed our cat. Until I found out. It wasn't a cat episode 1. Something about my wife changed after our wedding. Every night at exactly midnight, she woke up to feed our cat. I never asked why. That was my mistake. We were newly married, still learning each other, still adjusting to life together. A few days into the marriage, I noticed she wasn't herself. She became quiet, always awake at night. When I asked what was wrong, she hesitated. Then she said, "I need a cat." I told her I didn't like cats. She said she loved pets and had mentioned it during our courtship. I reminded her she never said cats specifically. "You never asked what kind of pets," she said. We stood there in silence, both of us thinking different things. After that night, she wasn't lively anymore. A few mornings later, I gave in. "All right," I said, "I'll get you a cat." She looked at me surprised. Then she smiled. "No," she said softly. "I'll get it myself. I know what I want." That evening, she returned with a large black cat. It stayed in the corner of the house, silent, watching. My wife said it preferred the dark. I didn't like the way the room felt with it there. That night, just after midnight, she quietly got out of bed and left the room. The second night, she did the same. The third night, I woke up as she was rising. "Where are you going?" I asked. She froze. Then she smiled. "The cat is hungry," she said. "I can hear it." I listened. There was nothing. I turned back to the bed and slept. After that night, something changed. Every evening when I returned from work, a heavy tiredness washed over me, sudden, unnatural. No matter how hard I tried to stay awake, by 7 p.m., sleep took me. Until one night. At exactly midnight, I woke up suddenly. The bed beside me was empty. I tried to lie back down. I couldn't. Something in me insisted I get up. I walked toward the sitting room. As I turned on the light, I froze. To be continued. My wife always wakes up at midnight to feed our cat. Until I found out it wasn't a cat episode 2. As I turned on the light, I froze. The cat darted away unnaturally fast, as if fleeing from the light itself. At the same time, my wife lifted a cup to her lips and drank whatever was inside too quickly. Before I could move, she stood up, smiling. "Honey, you're awake?" she said lightly. "Oh, thanks for switching the light on. I thought it had a fault." I was just heading back to the room. "Are you okay?" She kept talking, asking questions one after another, watching my face closely, as if trying to figure out what I had seen, or what I was about to say. But I said nothing. Too many thoughts crashed into my head at once. What did she just drink? Why did the cat flee from the light? I had no answers. But I knew one thing. If I wanted the truth, I would have to find it myself. I went back to bed without a word. The next morning, my wife was unusually cheerful. She joked, cooked my favorite meal, and kept glancing at me as if checking whether I would bring up the night before. I acted normal, but inside something felt deeply wrong, and I knew I couldn't ignore it anymore. That afternoon, while my wife was out, I took the first step. I sold the cat. I didn't tell her. If the cat was part of what was happening, removing it would expose the rest. For the first time in days, I felt relief. Not because I believed everything was over, but because I knew I was getting closer to the truth. That night I waited. We ate. We watched a movie. She said nothing. Just as I was about to stand up and get some juice, I heard a soft movement. The cat was there, curled calmly beside her. My chest tightened. It lifted its head and stared directly at me, unblinking, eye to eye. I quietly stepped outside and called the buyer, my hands shaking. "What about the cat?" I asked. "The cat?" he replied. "It's right here with me." My mind went blank. I went back inside. The cat was still there. My wife was petting it, smiling gently. That was when I knew. This was bigger than anything I had imagined. The next morning, I packed a small bag. "I'll be traveling for a few days," I said casually. My wife smiled. "Okay," she replied. I left the house, then quietly returned when she was gone. I set up my camera. I hid. At exactly midnight, I waited for my wife to come out. Instead, I saw the cat move toward our bedroom. A moment later, my wife stepped out. The cat stopped briefly, then turned toward the corner where I was hiding. My wife followed. She wasn't pretending anymore. Her face had changed. As they moved closer together, to be continued.
My wife always wakes up at midnight to feed our cat. Until I found out it wasn't a cat. Episode 3. The cat stopped in front of me. My wife looked straight at me. My heart raced. "Come out, you shouldn't hide in your own house," she said. Then she laughed. Not the kind of laugh that carries joy. "We know you're here," she continued. "You never traveled, like you said this morning." The cat made a sharp sound, almost as if it understood her words. My camera slipped from my hand. She took a step closer and said, "Not everything is meant to be found. If you want peace, stay away from what is bigger than you. Let sleeping dogs lie." Then she turned and walked back into the bedroom. The cat followed her, slow, confident, like it owned the house. I don't know how long I stood there. By the time I moved, it was already daybreak. At 6:30 a.m., my wife stepped out. "Honey," she said brightly, "aren't you going to work?" Her face was calm, peaceful, as if nothing had happened. I'll get ready," I stammered. She smiled and went into the kitchen. When I entered the bedroom, the cat was walking out. I froze. It stopped, turned, looked straight at me. Then it walked past me confidently. Something in me and in the house had changed. A few days later, a friend came to visit. The moment he stepped inside, his smile faded. He spoke briefly, then said he had to leave. "Guy, you just got here," I said. "We usually talk for hours." My wife laughed, smile, and walked out. I didn't know what was funny. Minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text came in. "You need help, brother." I didn't reply. I brushed it off. One morning, my wife said she was traveling to see her people. The moment she left, the house changed. I slept deeply for the first time in weeks. I ate. I breathed. The next day, I called her. "I'm no longer interested in this marriage. Song bother coming back," I said. She was quiet for a moment, then she laughed softly. "I'm already on my way back." The call ended. From that day on, I locked the gate every time. Day 1, day 2, day 3. She never came back. I became more relaxed. One morning, I woke up and noticed the door was open. I froze. I was sure I had locked everything. I checked the house. No sign of anyone. Maybe I forgot, I told myself. Before leaving for work, I locked the doors again. I locked the gate. That evening, as I returned home, I paused. The gate was wide open. The front door stood open again. A cold wave ran through me. Asterisk, 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 should he check the house, or turn back and go seek for help? Asterisk, 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 to be continued.
That evening, as I returned from work, I paused outside my gate. My front door was wide open. Before I could even move, the cat stepped out slowly, like it knew I was there. It stared at me for a long moment. Then it turned and walked back inside, calm, like it owned the house. My chest tightened. I didn't understand what was going on. I called my cousin, he's a bouncer, and begged him to come quickly. He arrived with 2 of his friends. We entered the house together and stood in the living room listening. No footsteps, no movement, just silence. Then we began to search. Nothing. No wife, no cat. Even the dark corner where it always stayed was empty. Everything was neat, too neat. One of his friends scoffed. "Guy, you probably didn't lock the door," my cousin sighed. "Bro, I think stress is messing with you. You need rest." I tried to explain calmly, but they didn't believe me. They shook their heads, annoyed, and walked away. I stood alone for a long time. I wondered if I was the problem. If fear was making me see things that weren't there, or maybe stress was finally getting to me. I checked the whole house once again and saw nothing. That night I slept, but I didn't rest. The next morning I tried to get up for work. My legs felt heavy, like all my strength had drained out. I tried again. Nothing. Minutes passed. Then an hour, then 2. I couldn't move. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I struggled to reach my phone and called my friend with trembling hands. He listened quietly. Then he asked one question that made my stomach turn. "How did you even meet your wife?" I swallowed. "Online," I replied. "Just 2 months ago." There was silence. "That was fast," he said quietly. Then he took a deep breath. "I'm coming." The call ended. As I lay there waiting, my eyes drifted to the floor, and that's when I saw it, inside my shoe. A red balloon. My heart pounded. How did that get there? I didn't even have the strength to pick it up, but something in me needed to. I rolled, struggled, reached, and grabbed it. And suddenly the heaviness in my legs eased, so I held it tighter, and my strength started coming back. I stood up, still holding the balloon. Then I heard a sharp knock at the door. I thought it was my friend. I walked to the door and looked through the window. It was my wife. Her eyes were wide, her voice shook. "Please open the door," she whispered. "Please give me that balloon." "Darling, I will explain everything."
My wife always wakes up at midnight to feed our cat until I found out it wasn't a cat. Episode 5. "Please, give me the balloon," my wife begged. "I'll tell you everything about the cat." I shook my head, lifted the red balloon, and popped it. Her face changed instantly. No! She cried, covering her face with her hands. Why would you do that? Why? She broke down like her whole world had ended. That was when my friend arrived. As I opened the door, I heard a movement behind me. The cat stepped out from inside the house. It cried, then walked past the door, past my wife, and into the street, slowly, calmly, like it had lost a battle. My wife kept crying, watching it disappear like she wanted to call it back. But it never turned. My friend stepped closer. Ma'am, what's going on? Are you okay? She shook her head, tears rolling down her cheeks. Talk, my friend said again. We're here. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she wiped her face and spoke. I got involved with the wrong people, and they gave me an assignment. What assignment? My friend asked. She sighed. To go after 10 men, she said quietly, one after another. Then she looked at me with tears in her eyes. You were the 9th, and my marriages never last 4 months. I froze. And the cat, I asked? She wiped her tears. Midnight was the only time I ever checked on it. As long as it stayed around, this house would start falling apart, little by little. My body went cold. Her lips trembled. The balloon was the final stage, she said quietly. It was supposed to pop by itself, not by anyone. My friend's face hardened. So now that he popped it, what happens next? Her whole body shook. What I tried to bring into his life, she cried. It's coming back to me now. Please, help me, forgive me, I'm sorry. I turned away, my chest rising too fast. Just leave, I said. Leave this house. But my friend grabbed my shoulder. Relax, he whispered. She's confessing. Let's do this the right way. That was how we ended up in front of a cleric that same day. After everything, I felt lighter. The cleric looked at her and said, make things right with everyone you've hurt. And if your first husband is still alive, go back, ask for forgiveness, and rebuild your life properly. Weeks passed. One evening, I saw her on a live broadcast. She looked into the camera and said, don't let anyone use you to destroy others, because you'll destroy yourself too. Trying to ruin someone's life won't fix yours. And before you follow a path, look well, because not every road has a return. The end.